Toni and Troy, Season 1, Episode 6, My Pet Catfish, Part 2. Toni and Troy run outside to chase pet catfish. Once they arrive outside, they look around, and he is nowhere to be found. This angry monster is now out on the streets. This isn't good at all. We cannot find Catfish. We have looked all over. He's probably terrorizing the kids in the neighborhood by now. We have been looking all over town. If we don't find Catfish, not only will we look like we are irresponsible, we won't get your bike, and no one is going to trust us again. I think I may have an idea. Uh-oh. I know this guy who sells exotic pets and animals. Maybe we can find an animal that looks like Catfish and kind of replace him? You know a guy? This sounds really sketchy. Don't jump to conclusions. Look, do you want to get out of this situation or not? All I have to do is contact a friend of a friend, and we are in. We only have until midnight to find pet Catfish. Have you called yet? I am working on it now. Toni walks over to the corner and makes a phone call. Toni hangs up the phone. Okay, we need to get a ride downtown. We can ask Dad. No, too risky. Remember, our objective is to not get caught switching pet Catfish. Toni and Troy wait until nightfall and head downtown. Stay back here. I need to go into this building. If I'm not out in 5 minutes, come in after me. Come in after you? What? So I can get my kneecaps busted too? I have seen the movies. I don't think so. Just wait here. Toni heads into the dark building. There is a man in a suit standing in the shadows. He was very scary looking. He had a look that would make most people feel uneasy, and the smell of his cigar made Toni's stomach turn. It smelled of old socks that were sitting in water for a few days and then hung out to air dry. It definitely was not pleasant. Toni followed the man in the back room of the building. Toni walks up to the chef. The big boss told me you were looking for a pet catfish. On the plate, there sits uncooked catfish. Are you kidding me? Toni gets flustered and starts to hyperventilate. Calm down. We aren't looking to have a barbecue. I am not looking for fish to eat. I am in a really big bind here, and you guys said you can help me out. Calm down. You're overreacting. Take this fish and take it to the car outside. He will be able to help you. Toni looks confused but takes the platter of catfish outside. She hands it to the driver, and the driver gives Toni a piece of paper with an address. She runs back to Troy. OMG, what took you so long? I was going to come in and look for you. Not unless you wanted to end up in a vat of spoiled fish. I am just glad you are okay. Well, I got the address that we are supposed to go to. Let's go. We are running out of time. Toni and Troy arrive in another building. Let's go inside. What is this place? It's where you can find the most unique, one-of-a-kind animals. They walk inside the shop, and there are exotic animals all over the place. There is a man who looks like he owns the place, and he is missing an eye. What happened to your eye, sir? Toni nervously chuckles. Don't ask silly questions, Troy. I hear you guys are looking for a rare pet called Catfish. Yes, we are. The man points over to the pet catfish. They are much smaller in size and are different colors. I don't think we are going to get away with this, Toni. Now, I am starting to worry. These look nothing like pet catfish. Maybe we should just tell the truth. If we do that, we can kiss our free time goodbye. And you don't get a new bike. How much is one of the pet catfish? These are very rare, but I understand you kids are in a bind. I can let one go for $1,500. $1,500? If we had that kind of money, we wouldn't be worried about making 20. Okay, I can let one go for $150. Are you trying to rip us off, mister? Troy, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. He is giving us a deal. I don't see it that way. We are going to be further in the hole, and where are we going to get $150 from? We can get Grandma's wedding ring and pawn it. Are you crazy? Didn't you get in trouble earlier this year for pawning her teeth? It's just for a short while until we raise more money. I don't know what you two are planning, but it doesn't seem like a very good idea. We just don't have the $150. I tell you what, I will give you the pet catfish, but you will need to come and work with me during the week. After that, we consider it even. Sound like a plan? I think we can help with that. Just 4 weeks, right? Yes, every day for the next 4 weeks. It's a deal. Toni and Troy take a pet catfish. They head back to Mr. Fuller's house with pet catfish. We still have one more problem. The colors are different. Oh, that's an easy fix. Just as she finishes her sentence, she pulls out 2 spray cans and paints the pet catfish green and orange like the original. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? And what do you think is going to happen when it's bath time for pet catfish? We will be long gone by then. Just as Toni and Troy finish, Mr. Fuller walks in the door. How are you? How's pet catfish? He's just fine. Mr. Fuller hands Toni and Troy the $20 bill. They run out the door into the snowy cold air. See? We got away with it! Troy looks uneasy and uncomfortable. This is totally going to backfire. Toni and Troy walk into the house. Dad walks into the room. Hey, I have to go. I just received a call to go pick up a wild animal downtown. He's been roaming the streets tearing up the garbage. I'll have to stop and pick up my tranquilizer at the shop. I will be back later. Now both Toni and Troy feel uncomfortable. Did you hear that? As soon as Dad picks up pet catfish, we are so busted. I have a better idea. Let's get downtown before Dad does. He has to make a stop at his shop. We can lure the original pet catfish back into Mr. Fuller's house and switch them back before he realizes it, and then give the one we bartered for back to the shop to avoid working in the dirty pet cages. This is risky, but I don't think we have a choice. Toni and Troy head back downtown. They see pet catfish digging in a garbage can. He is snarling and drooling. Okay, here is a leash. Go attach this to him. I am not walking up to that monster. Okay, you distract him, and I will get him on the leash. Toni agrees, and they walk closer to pet catfish. Toni starts to wave her hands in the air, and pet catfish looks up at her. Troy gets the leash around pet catfish. Pet catfish doesn't like this and starts to angrily growl. Just as Toni and Troy attempt to wrangle pet catfish, Dad and Mr. Fuller show up. Dad? What are you two doing down here? There's my pet catfish. This isn't yours. Your pet catfish is in your house. Don't lie to me. I know my pet catfish anywhere. He doesn't turn colors when you put water on him. It's all Toni's fault. It was her idea. How did you know that pet catfish was here? I got a call from the men inside the building that an animal was in the garbage can eating their uncooked catfish. You two lied and replaced my pet catfish. We are so sorry. We didn't mean for any of this to happen, but pet catfish took off on 2 legs and escaped the house. We couldn't catch him. You two are grounded. I can't believe you two tricked Mr. Fuller. Well, the pet catfish you brought to my house did not make it. Oh no! That means we still have to clean the pet cages at the exotic pet shop. That's a good way to start your punishment. The next day, Toni and Troy show up in the basement of the exotic pet shop. The smell is putrid. They can barely stand it. Troy starts to get dizzy from the smell. This isn't fun at all. Toni and Troy are cleaning the animal cages with a shovel. Next time you want to take a shortcut, do it by yourself. There's no such thing as easy money. If you like our videos, don't forget to subscribe